Hey everybody, it's Ray from Team Reese Travels, and I'm here today to introduce to you my new journal, You Are a Lion 30 Days to Unlocking Your Inner Roar. I am so excited for you to learn about this journal. In the next video that you will see coming up, you will learn more about it because my wife and I, Kiki, did an interview with our publisher to discuss the journal, the thoughts about the journal behind it, what came about from the journal, what motivated me to create this journal. So I'm looking forward for you guys to watch this vlog, and I look forward to hearing from you all that purchased the journal. If you would like to purchase the journal, please feel free to visit youarealion.net. But before that, watch this interview and take time out to learn more about the journal. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you soon. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Nakia Hammonds Blakely, and you're tuned in for another edition of I Champions Author Spotlight. And today we are with brand new author of a new trilogy called You Are a Lion, Mr. Raimele Reese. I hope you'll welcome him today. Ray, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
So glad to be with you.
I'm glad to be here.
Listen, so you are now the newest author of I Champion Publishing, and you've released not one book, but three, a whole trilogy. You Are a Lion.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about You Are a Lion, Ray.
You Are a Lion is a combination of inspirational quotes with scriptures to enforce those quotes. And along with those scriptures, there are power questions, you can say, or inspirational questions that make you think about what you've read. And then there are lines right beneath it, because it's a journal also. There's lines right beneath it that will allow you to reflect on what you read. And I've been telling people, if you got more than what them lines will hold, get you some paper, date it, put what day it is, and stick it inside of it, and just keep going. But don't skip to the next day. You don't want to skip ahead. You want to go day by day with it.
Yes. So we're going to get into that journal in just a little bit. But first, let me tell you a little bit about Raimele Reese. He is a husband, a father, a minister, and provider. He prides himself on helping individuals become their best, even when they feel as if they are unqualified to do so. His goal is to help people learn how to be better within. He says that none of the titles matter if you haven't figured out how to be the best you. So he wants to help all of us do that. Raimele wants people to become empowered, strong. He wants us to feel loved and affirmed, to know the value of ourselves and that we are valuable to others. He believes that when people feel affirmed and empowered, they then understand their value. He says that once we understand our worth, and with God, we can move forward and walk in our purpose. He says that is the key to unlocking our inner roar. And we're going to hear all about that in a little bit, and become the lion that God has intended us to be. So we're so excited to be with brand new author Raimele Reese. Raimele, I just have to say congratulations on just hitting this journal out of the park. You Are a Lion is awesome. I've read through it myself, obviously, and really enjoyed the journey. But more than that, I appreciate people who have hearts of gold. And I can honestly say that from day one to now, you have had such a wonderful heart and spirit. And it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you and your family. And I just want to extend my deepest congratulations for just a stellar job well done on this book.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been an interesting journey, but I appreciate the journey. I've learned over the years that when you have to work for it, it feels better at the end.
That
I
is
know God showed me these things and gave me these things over the years. Gave me these quotes over the years, and He allowed me to put them all together. And I'm excited. I'm ready. I believe that when people begin to read this book and begin to see what's inside of it, that they'll understand too that they are a lion, no matter what the situation calls for or what's going on in their lives. That they are a lion. There's a lion on the inside. There's a roar on the inside that's ready to come out.
Come
So
on now. Now we're gonna get into that world in just a little bit, but first let's tell them how we came to know each other. How did you hear about our champion publishing, and what made you decide to work with us?
I heard about iChampion Publishing through Christine Preston.
Yeah.
She another one of your authors. You created her first cookbook, and
Yes.
the way Chrissy pushed her cookbook, the way that you all pushed her cookbook on the different platforms, I understood that though I wanted to try to do it on my own as a first time author, I'm so glad I didn't,
Hmm.
because there was some stuff that we dealt with and we went through that I've been like, what? What's
Mhm.
going on here? So I'm glad that I discovered and I found out about iChampion Publishing. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and it's been an easy process. I
Thank.
um I did a live on Facebook the other day, and I said that with you all, I never felt like I was just a number. Because
Hmm.
there's sometimes you get with people and you get with companies and organizations that you just, oh well, you're number 1,102. But
Sure.
with you, I probably am number 1,102, but at the same time I never felt like that. I felt like that when we had to have a meeting, when we had to do a text message, we had to do an email, we had to do a phone call, that it was there. And if
Yeah.
it couldn't happen, then some way or another we were able to communicate one way or another. And I never
Yeah.
felt like, oh well, he's just a number and I'll get back to him when I can.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I want to return that it's been such a great work relationship with you as well. You're such a professional. You set goals, always adhere to any timelines, deadlines. Just have been excellent in the follow through. And like I said, very early on, just being able to discern your heart and spirit. It's really been a pleasure working with you, and not just you, but your family. I love that your wife has been able to give invaluable input all along the process, and even your son, seeing
Yeah.
the excitement of the book coming alive through his eyes. Got to ask him the other day, "Are you proud of Daddy?" And he was in the background, "Yes." And it is a family affair, and it's been wonderful to pray you all through this process, and you've prayed us through the last few weeks. It's been so much going on, in the world, a lot happening with our families, and it's just been a pleasurable journey. So let's get into You Are a Lion.
All right.
Ray, what inspired you to write this journal, You Are a Lion? First, let's talk about the title. Why You Are a Lion?
You Are a Lion came from you can call it a slogan I've always given my son. And when I give him that slogan, it was at a point in time where my son would just kind of be down and out about things. I was like, man, what are you who's tougher, you or the situation? He'd be like, me. I was like, RJ, you a lion, man. You got to be louder than that. So with that inspiration, that's where the title came from. And then the inspirational quotes are just things I had written over the years. Um, on Facebook, there's an opportunity where it comes up and it says memories, and in those memories there are times when I have written quotes, and it sometimes it's 6 years ago, sometimes it's been 10 years ago, and I look back, I was like, man, I said that 10 years ago. Or even you look at some things, you're like, well, what was I going through? What was I going through at that point? And so I was able to go through my timeline and go through my memories and bring those quotes out, and I was able to. God allowed me to put those quotes together within the book itself.
So did from the very beginning, did you always know that um, becoming an author was the end point for you, or was your main goal for a while just encouraging people, and it ended up in a book?
Were just for inspiration for people themselves. When I would put them up on Facebook, sometimes they would be just it would seem like random things I was saying, but then sometimes it would be I almost felt like that was deep, Jesus. Okay, well let me go ahead and put that up. So it was for inspiration. And honestly, when it came out to be an author, I wanted to write a book a long time ago, and I probably will still do it, about being a first time dad. And
Mm.
I was gonna start it, and I did start, and I stopped, and I started, and I stopped, and it just never came back around. But I'll probably come back around to it now. But as far as this book goes, I didn't think it would go. It would just be an author with those quotes. It was just, hey, I'm writing it to inspire people. Some people like it. Sometimes I wrote things that people never said anything about, which is cool. I'm not gonna trip about it, but
Yeah. But I love that it sounds like even from the very beginning, you've never been afraid to just take it to that next step. So it started out as just general encouraging people with quotes online on social
mhm,
media.
mhm,
And you weren't afraid to bridge out to the book.
mhm.
And not only did you write the book in our very first meeting, when I asked you what your vision was and what you wanted to do, you described the book. And I think toward the end of it, I asked you, but if you were to dream big, just dream big, what would you want to do, or where do you want to take this? And you said, well, actually, I would love to do one for women, one for men, and one for the youth. And just out of that conversation, not only did you produce one journal, but it turned into a whole trilogy. Talk to them about what made you decide to go beyond just doing a general men's devotional and include the women and the youth as well.
Honestly, it was the push through Nikia and through iChampion to dream big and do great things. And she challenged me. Was like, "Hey, now we can do this. We can take this and we can take it to another level, and you can make this into a men's, women's, and youth journal." And I was like, I had this. I don't know if she saw it, but I had this look on my face, or at least I was thinking. I was like, "Huh?" But then she described to me how to do it, and here we are. And as you can see on the screen, that's the women's journal with the pink or fuchsia, and that's the youth journal with the blue and the yellow. And so the challenge from the Kia, which I would say, if someone challenges you, as long as it does not interfere with your ethics or does not interfere with your belief system, and you pray about it, you got to pray about it. But if the push is to make you greater or make what you're trying to do become greater, I say accept the push, accept the challenge, because you're lying.
So good. So if you are just tuning in with us, I'm Nakia Hammonds Blakely, and I am talking with brand new author Raimele Reese. He has released a trilogy called You Are a Lion. It's available in both men, women, and youth versions. And You Are a Lion is officially on sale now on Amazon. Head on over to Amazon to purchase your copies of You Are a Lion. It is available both in the men's edition, women, you have your own edition, and your young people. If you have children in the house, there's a devotional just for them called You Are a Lion. You can also head over to Raymele's website, which is youarealion.net, where you can find out a little bit more about him. You can purchase the books, connect with him on any of his social media channels, and just find out all of the great things that God is doing through this man of God in this hour. So, Raimele, if they want to plug in with you, even on social media, they can find you at You Are a Lion 21. And that's on Facebook and Instagram. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's Facebook and Instagram.
All right. So I want to ask you, what advice would you give specifically to men who need to believe in who they are and who God created them to be? And that's an important question because we know that men are the leaders of our homes, of our marriages, of our families. And how is it important? How important is it for men to walk in their identity as a lion?
I believe, and when you look at this book and you read how I wrote it, I never wrote it gender specific. I didn't want anyone to feel as if they were left out. And when a man reads this book, he can read this book and understand that he's a lion, and that he, as a protector, even as you see the front of this book cover, this lion is ferocious. This lion is not going to take anything from anybody, and this lion is got the crown on his head because he's the king. And so as a man, you understand that your job at the end of the day, no matter what's going on, how it's going on, what happened, that you are a lion and that you have to do what you got to do, no matter what's going on. It's gonna hurt sometimes. You're gonna cry sometimes. I I I dislike when I hear other men say that men should not cry because there's been a many of day I've cried. I've cried hard, and it's been about, it could be about a loved one, it could be about a situation, it could be about anything, it could be just some days you just need to cry, and it feels good, honestly. So I never like when another man says that men shouldn't cry because they should. But as a man, you are a lion, you are strength, you are powerful, you have the knowledge, even though you might not know how to get to it. But with this journal, you will be able to see that, hey, I can do it. Hey, this situation has happened or it is happening, and I can still move on because I've read this quote and I have this powerful scripture backing it up. And then there's a challenge question within this book that makes you challenge yourself even more and make you think outside the box sometimes too with some of the questions.
I love that you give permission for men to process their feelings and not just have to stuff it. And I think that's the whole goal, right, of journaling, is to get it beyond just your head and really get to a place where you can process what you're feeling and what you're going through. Women tend to do that a little more naturally than men. And so I'm so grateful that there is an outlet for both men, women, and young people to process their feelings and their thoughts as they go through this journey. Now, we know that beside every good man, I know that they say behind every good man, well, behind him, beside him, all around him, in front of him, listen, on top and on bottom, all the way around, there's always a good woman. And in Raimele's case, he certainly has a good one beside him, and that is Shakia Reese. If you don't mind, we'd love to talk to Sister Reese right now on the perspective of what it's like to be a woman undergirding an author during this process, what it's been like for her. And I also want to talk a little bit about the benefits of a woman journaling through this process. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the beautiful Miss Shakia Reese. Hey, Shakia.
Hi, Nakia. How are you?
I'm good, sis. How are you today?
I'm good. I am well. Thank
So,
you.
what, first of all, just what has it been like watching him go through this process in becoming an author, him going from having the dream or the idea to now manifesting it in book form?
It has been amazing watching this come to life. I've watched Ray over the years. He's always been a man of all these big ideas. For as long as I've known him, he's had idea after idea, and to see them grow to life has been great throughout the entire marriage. But to see this one come to life and just to think back on, some of the things that he's done in the past and how they've impacted just this process on its own. I watched him when he would mentor younger youth in our church when we were younger in ministry. And I watched him, be a mentor for the Gary Literacy Coalition and things like that when we were just dating. And to know and look back now and see that all those things God was doing with him and shaping him and molding him and just putting "You Are a Lion" into him, even though he didn't put pen to paper until, a few months ago. But just knowing that God had been doing this all along, he just amazes me all the time. God amazes me, and this man amazes me too.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I love it. Now, he just a minute ago talked about the importance of men not stuffing their emotions and being able to journal and process and write them down. And that's why he has written this new book. If you're just joining us, You Are a Lion, Unlocking Your Inner Roar, 30 Days to Unlocking Your Inner Roar. And he has created an edition for men, women, and youth, if you're just tuning in. But sis, what do you think is the value for women specifically to journal during times like these?
I think it's important for women to journal. Women in particular, right? We talk about our womanhood and femininity. And I think it's just an important reminder that, I can be strong in my womanhood and I can be fierce in my femininity. And it's okay for, I don't have to be a man to say I'm a lion and I have a roar. I think that also one of the things that's so great about journaling is me personally, I'm not always able to put my thoughts together out loud as easily as I can when I have pen and paper. So to just have an outlet there with a guide and scriptures around the quotes that are there, being able to just sit down with that and kind of piece out the things that are going through my mind, that God has given. Sometimes we're going through something difficult and we might just need to write down everything that God has done already for us, just so that we can be reminded that, hey, what you're going through now, you're going to get through it just like you got through this other list of 30 things that you wrote down in your journal. You're going to get through this one too. And so it's a great experience. I think it's important for us to journal as women. And I think it can be very beneficial in our lives too.
So well said. Y'all have heard from Shakia Reese, the woman beside the man of the hour today. And we are with Raimele Reese, who is a brand new author. He has written a book called You Are a Lion. You Are a Lion, 30 Days to Unlocking Your Inner Roar. If you're interested in purchasing this book, it is now available on Amazon and wherever books are sold. You can go into your local bookstore, including Walmart, and ask for You Are a Lion by Raimele Reese, and they will ensure that the book is delivered to your front door. You can also go to his website and purchase at youarealion.net. It's an opportunity for you not only to purchase the book, but you can learn a little bit more about him as an author. You can connect with him on all of his social media channels. He's on both Facebook and Instagram, or you can look him up at You Are a Lion 21. And he's an entrepreneur. He and his family are involved in lots of things, and he's always, you heard from his wife, creative and always coming up with new and exciting things. And the website will be a great opportunity for you all to touch base with this great man of God and this new project. I'm Nakia Hammonds-Blakely with I Champion Publishing, and we are talking with brand new author Raimele Reese of Portage, Indiana, and he has released a brand new book called You Are a Lion. And we're so excited that he has chosen I Champion Publishing as his publishing company. So guys, I want to ask you both, what do you feel are the major benefits of doing Bible study along with the journaling? Because you'll see in this book, not only did he guide you through questions to allow you to process your feelings, but it's very much a Bible study based devotional. So what do you all say is the benefit of that type of Bible study along with the journaling process?
You go ahead.
I think it's important to make sure that whatever you're putting into your head, that it's spirit based and that it's biblical and Bible based. So being able to do the journaling and have scriptures that kind of coincide with the quotes that are in there, I think is really important, because you can very easily crowd your mind with the wrong thing. But you know that when it is spirit led and when it is biblical and Bible based, it's not the wrong thing, because God is never wrong. So I think that's why it's important for me.
That's good, because basically we're not trying to make clones of ourselves, right? But at the end of the day, we're trying to point people back to God. And I believe that, you do an excellent job at doing that. We're modeling God, and we're talking about the Lion of Judah, for goodness sake. And so he has created us in his image. One more thing you said, Shakia, not to take away from you, your shine, Ray, but one wonderful thing that your wife said that I enjoy so much is that even as women, we don't have to feel timid. We too have a roar. Come on now.
Yes.
He didn't give us just a little purr. We
Right.
too can have a roar.
Yes.
I am woman, hear me roar. And it don't take
Absolutely.
nothing away from our man for the woman to also have a roar and identity. And I love that so very much. Another thing that is wonderful about this book, if you all haven't heard by now, he has also created a youth edition. And I want you all to talk to us about the importance right now of the youth edition. Why did you feel that it was important also to hear their voice in this process and for them to have an outlet by which they can share their experiences?
For me, that's so has everything just like fixed. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to deal with it, and it kind of just they'll just pass it on. But then they're not realizing that what they're passing on usually comes back around one way or another. It comes back around, and I think that with the youth edition of this of the You Are a Lion journal, that they will be able to write their feelings down. Because like my wife said, sometimes they might not be able to figure it out or say it in words. And if you look at a lot of things, you look at social media, that youth are all over social media and they write a lot of stuff. And so, what better way to write it than write it with God's word right in front of your face?
That is so very good. So, lastly, if you're just tuning in, I'm Nakia Hammonds Blakely with our Champion Publishing, and I am with brand new author Raimele Reese, celebrating the release of his new trilogy, You Are a Lion, coming in a men's edition, a women's edition, and youth. He's joined by his lovely wife, Shakia. And I wanted to just ask you guys, and you in particular, Ray, what is your advice for other people who are out there and they know that God has placed something within them, but they don't know yet if it's being an author, or they're scared about taking that first step and putting their ministry gift or their inspiration into book form? What's your advice to those budding authors out there that might be afraid?
If you are afraid to be an author, the first thing I would say is definitely pray about it. Talk to God about it, and I would definitely say have a notebook or a binder or something, and have some pens, some pencils, some markers, some color pencils, some crayons, whatever it is you need close by. You have you a bag with just your author stuff in it. We put it like that. Where when you could be jacked, because there were times where I was getting out the car one day and God gave me 11 different things to write down, and so I didn't have nothing. Shame on me, but I didn't have anything, so I had to run in the house and write it all down. So what better way to be able to write down your ideas than to have something right in hand, which would be a notebook, a binder, a receipt, because I got stuff on receipts I wrote. It just depends on what it is, but have something close by to write it down, and just put it all and just write it down. And then as you're writing it down, look it over, because what you write down may be chapter one, or what you write down may be section one, or what you write down may be just the first couple of paragraphs. But have it and just write it all down. If you got to make sure you date it, try to put dates on it. Put if you have it, put the reason why you wrote it. And so that I would say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to write it down. Now, if you don't want to talk about it, talk to Jesus about it, and then in between that, eventually you'll be able to write it. You'll be able to talk about it out in the open. But have something in your hands where you can write it down, where you can journal it down, where you can jot it down, and you won't forget it. Because the worst thing it is, especially if you know what some guy gave you, the worst thing it is he give you something and you didn't write it down, you forget. You be like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Well, you
Yeah.
like, I gave it to you. Now it was up. You were supposed to do something right with it. So.
So true. Thank you for that advice. Now, I know that there is one more member of the Reese family that we haven't heard from yet.
That's
Is little RJ around?
He is. RJ, come
we
here.
we just feel like we need to hear from RJ. We've had representation from the men and the women, but we have to hear from the youth. We know that he's a proud son, excited for his father,
Yeah.
and want to hear from him. For those of you that might be just tuning in, we only have a few more minutes with brand new author Raimele Reese, and we are celebrating the release of his new book, You Are a Lion. It's a trilogy, guys. Men's edition, the women and the youth. And joining us is little Raimele Reese. Hi, RJ. How are you?
Good.
You good? So I hear that every morning. Matter of fact, can you get right behind mommy and daddy, like stand right in between their heads? We want to see all three of y'all. Yep. There you go. There you go. Squeeze on in. All right. So we hear that every day they ask you, "Who are you?" And what do you say?
Lion.
Come on.
Tell them what
You
you
are
are.
lying. So what are you excited for daddy that he wrote this book? Yeah. And do you know how awesome it is that he has not only created one book, but 3 books?
Yep, he
For
creates.
men, women, and children. Isn't that awesome? So do you believe that you are a lion, RJ? Do you believe that you are a lion?
You sure?
Yeah. So if you, before we go, we just want you we want you to give daddy one message. If you want to tell him anything about like how proud you are of him and mommy for writing this book, what do you want to tell daddy today?
Proud of him for mommy writing his book.
Proud of him for what?
Proud of you writing his book.
Proud of him for writing his book.
And RJ, we want you to know that just like daddy did this big thing, you are a lion too. You are your father's son, and you are capable of doing some big and amazing things. So we cannot wait to see what happens with the Reese family from here, from the iChampion Publishing family to the Reese family. We want you all to know we love you. We're proud of you, and we are celebrating the release of You Are a Lion. So, guys, this marks the conclusion of our online launch. But right now, we want you to head over to Amazon. That's where you need to go.
Absolutely.
Head over to Amazon.
Stop.
And You Are a Lion by Raimele Reese. Pick up the men's edition, the women's edition, or the youth. It's only $24.99. Full color journal. It will walk you through 30 days to unlock your inner roar and becoming all that God has created you to be. There's also a website, youarealion.net, where you can purchase the book, but also find out more about this author. He is a minister and a speaker, a husband, a father, a protector, and a provider who's called to empower God's people to become all that we are created to be. You can also follow them on social media. You Are a Lion 21. That's on Facebook and Instagram. And we just want you to know we are so proud. So Ray, Shakia, RJ, any closing comments that you have for the viewers out there today?
Thank you so much. Thank you, iChampion Publishing. Thank you, Nakia, for your push. Thank you for believing in me, for reading it and not looking at it as like, oh no, but looking at it as like we can do this. And I thank you for taking on the deadline I asked about, and we met it right on target. So I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And thank you. I'm sorry, and thank you all for who are watching, supporting me through this. And I look forward to you all taking this 30-day journey with me, because I'm gonna do it too. But taking this 30-day journey with me, and in the end of 30 days, I want to see. I want you to discuss with me on my Instagram, on my Facebook, of how you've changed, even after day one, what you've read, what's inspired you, and how in 30 days you will be unlocking your inner roar.
All right. Shakia, any last comments for the viewers out there?
Yeah, just again, continue. Thank you, everyone, for your support. I will add one thing. When I journal, one of the things that I like to do is write how I feel when I'm reading the words and when I'm connecting it with that scripture. And so I encourage you all to do that, so that one day when you're reading back on the things that you've journaled, that you can think about how you felt in those moments, because So you're going to have moments that are going to come, right? You don't journal and then it's over and then everything is great and the skies, blue skies and sunny skies and all of that and everything's wonderful. You're going to have moments again that you're going to have to come back to. So I just encourage people to, think about these moments and the changes that are happening as you're journaling and as you're reading You Are a Lion, so that you'll be able to come back and reflect on those one day.
Absolutely. And we all want to join in this challenge. Ray just issued us all a challenge. Let's purchase our copies of the journal, and then let's hit up social media. Let's go to his Instagram and Facebook page, You Are a Lion 21. When we get our copies in the mail, how about we take a picture of us with our book at the beginning of our journey, and maybe we can share with each other what our goals are on the other end of the 30-day experience. And then we'll come back to that same page and share our testimonials, things that we have learned, ways that we have seen ourselves grow during this 30-day challenge. Because at the end of the day, that is what the whole book is about. It's about us growing and becoming all that God has created us to be. So let's get on this challenge together. Meet each other on Facebook and Instagram at You Are a Lion 21. Let's post pictures of us with our books at the beginning of the challenge, and let's converse throughout. And at the end, by all means, let's share our testimonies so that this family will know that this leap of faith, that this act of obedience resulted in somebody's heart and life being changed and won toward God.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm Nakia Hammonds Blakely with I Champion Publishing, and this has been another new author spotlight celebrating the trilogy release of You Are a Lion with the Reese family. You all go on over to youarealion.net, go to Amazon and purchase You Are a Lion with Raimele Reese, and we'll see you all again soon. Have a good night.
See ya. Thank you.